Well, I'm resizing brass for my M1. Got fired brass here. It's a mixture of Lake City. It's not match, it's just standard Lake City and some of this Greek HXP. I resize on the Lee Classic turret press with an RCBS Lube die number 2 and a Hornady full-length sizing die. I use a little bit of the Imperial neck lube here with the applicator media. Just a quick dip there. Run it into the lube die. I'm also running the Hornady full-length sizing die with a Redding plus 2000s competition Shellholder. That gives me a good reference dimension that runs well in my M1. This brass was already fired in the M1, so that's just a little bit of a bump to get it to feed better. It's a kind of a light full-length size. Let's see, Lake City 57 on this one. Back around to the lube die. Some of these have already been deprimed, others haven't. So after I do this, I'll check to see if they need to be trimmed. And I typically trim them on either the L.E. Wilson trimmer, or I also use the Lee case length gauge, this cutter setup. This works well too. This brass was annealed. I just finished that. Here's a Lake City with a single 5. I don't remember if that single 5 means 1950 or 1955. I read once what that means when there's only a single digit. I don't remember if it means it's a duplicate or if it's a 0 afterwards. So this is my normal M1 resizing routine. After that part of the process, after the trimming, sometimes I tumble them if they're dirty, other times I don't, and then they go on to my Dillon 450 to be primed, powder charge, and the bullets seated and crimped. I have that set up with a very light flare in the first station to get the bullet to feed nicely, and then the powder charge on the second station. I use a Lee Perfect powder measure with the old Lee Universal powder charge die to make an automatic powder dispenser setup, and then of course the Hornady seating die, and then a Lee factory crimp die. Lake City 68 on that one. I've been using H4895 in my M1. I've been thinking about trying some 4831, IMR 4831, but so far I mostly run H4895. I jot down these setups so I don't forget. A while back, June 7th of 2019, I have notes: resize M1 Garand, LC 68 brass, fired in the M1. The comparator showed approximately 2.0440 average. So after that, I did a full-length size with the Hornady die on the Lee Classic turret press with an RCBS Lube die and the Redding plus 002 Shellholder. So I keep a note of that's what I've been running so I don't forget. And this turret stays set up so it's ready to go whenever. And then this is kind of a log of my M1 shots. The rifle doesn't have a lot of rounds through it, only 394 since I purchased it from the CMP. It's a CMP special with a Criterion barrel, so it was a brand new barrel when I started. And so 394 rounds. I've also written down other people that I've let shoot it, friends, family, so it's fun. So I enjoy this part of the hobby. This is not super precise, high detail reloading. Doing it this way gives me a chance to look at this brass. I do get a little bit of nicking from the extraction from the M1, but if I tumble it with the steel pins, it pretty much smooths that out. And of course, the first time you reload these, I have to do the primer pockets, take the crimp out, and those types of things. But these were annealed earlier today, and this is the resizing step. I need a 2-hole turret press. So I only use the lube die and the full-length sizing die. For 223, for my plinking 223 ammo, I use a 3-hole turret press because I do a lube die in the first station, the sizing die in the second station, and then a trim die in the third station. And I do have the trim die for 30-06 that I have used before. The problem being that the stem on this Hornady die is long enough that it interferes, so I haven't been doing it that way. But it is an option. Lake City, another 68. So this is how I process brass for the M1. Got a bin of them finished here. Stack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows there, 5 rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's about 35 in here that are finished, and then I've got another 5 in here, and the rest of this tub to do for this batch. It doesn't take too long to get them taken care of. Lake City 68. Into the lube die. Into the full length sizing die. Set the press up for the next round. That's all there is. That's all there is to it. Ready for the trimming. Thanks for watching.